Hello everyone, welcome to Mean Life Studies. If you observe, I have been sharing different kind of SQL interview questions and also concepts from SQL, but I didn't share anything related to data analysis using SQL. Now, in this video, you can see how we are going to do data analysis by taking a sample data set. So if you have data exist in your database, you can start taking that, or we can also read the data from your local storage. We have different importing techniques. With the help of those, we are going to read the data from any data that's stored in any file format. Okay. So to do that, you can just first select so in which database you want to store. Okay. So now if you observe, these are the tables we have in Mean Life Studies 1 database. Okay. Just right click on that database, whatever the database in that you want to store. Just go to task. You can see here different options are open. In among those, just go to task. In task, you can able to see here these are the different options. Here you can see we have different importing techniques, right? Just click on import data. Now it's going to open a wizard. You can see here, just click on right click on next button. Now you can see here it's asking us to data source, in which data source that you want to read the data, right? Just select. Now I'm just taking Excel sheet. So now you can see here I'm just clicking on Excel file now, and it's going to ask us to browse the file. I'm just clicking on browse button. So now it's asking us to browse the file that you from the local storage. Now you can see here I'm just selecting any one of this. I'm just going through e-commerce. Just click on it and open it. Now you can see here this is the file that we are trying to read into this server, right? So this is the version. Even if you are facing any issues, you can just select different versions. Okay, mine is 2007 to 10. Okay, just click on next button. Now you can see here it's asking us to select destination source, destination location. Okay, just click on in which destination you are trying to store. So this is currently we are in Microsoft SQL Server version, right? So you have to use SQL Server. I'm just going through any of the native client like 11 or 10. Okay, you can select any of them. Now you can see here this is the server that we are currently in, and this is the database that we are trying to store in. Okay, just click on next button. Now again click on next. Now you can see here this is the data, that is e-commerce, that we are trying to store into our database, that is Mean Life Studies 1. Just click on next button. Again click on next and finish it up. Now you can see here all getting success. Now just close this one. Now you can see here there is no e-commerce, right? Just refresh these tables once. Now you can see here this is the data that we read from the local storage, right? That is stored in this database, that is Mean Life Studies 1. Now we'll see, even if you want to change this name also, you can change by just double click on that name, and also you can mention any name you want. Okay, and just mention e-commerce. Now we'll see what is this data. So for that, what we have to do, first we have to ensure we have to enter into this database, right? By using either scroll down option of here, or you can write a SQL query, that is use Mean Life Studies 1. Okay, just execute it. Now you can see here change it to Mean Life Studies 1. Now we enter into this database. Now we are going to select this data. We are going to look at this one. How we can do that? By using select start from table name, right? Now you can see here what is this data. So this is the data. Now we are going to start doing data analysis from this data. Okay, even if you want to do any data analysis, you can start taking it. Even if you don't have any data set, you can start downloading it from any open source like Kaggle or data.gov in any format, like in Microsoft Excel sheet file, or it could be CSV file, or whatever it could be, any format you can read. Okay, through the same technique. Now this is the file we have. This is the data. First we are going to find the different insights, like how many transaction IDs are there. Let's see here how we can do that. Select count of transaction ID from the given table, right? It will return number of transactions present in the table, that is 1000 transaction. Now we'll see another response. So these are all our insights, right? So what are the insights that you are trying to find? You can find it by writing different SQL queries. Now we'll see count of user IDs. How many user IDs are there? Now if I execute this query, you can see here it's returning 1000, but that doesn't mean that there are 1000 1000 users are there, right? So the same user can purchase again and again. So you can use here distinct. So if you use distinct, that's going to return how many unique users are there in the given data. Now if I execute this query, you can see here there are only 100 customers are there, 100 users are there, and these users are going to purchase it again and again. So that's why you're getting total of 1000 transaction, but actually there are 100 customers only. 100 customers are users. Now we'll see under response. So we found there are 1000. You can see here also there are 1000 records, and each record will be the distinct transaction ID. And here if you observe 52 is there. and there might be 52. The same user can be purchased again and again, right? So that's why if you observe, there are only 100 users are there, and they are going to do it for, there are total of 1000 transactions, and these are the different dates. Now here also you can find the count of transaction date, now transaction date from e-commerce. Now you can see how it's going to return. It's going to return 1000, but we'll see how many distinct transaction dates. See here, it's returning only 340, right? So there are only 340 because the same customer can be purchased multiple times on the same given date or same date, or multiple dates, I mean different multiple customers on purchase on the same date, right? So that is why here we are getting total transaction dates are 340 days. Okay. Even if you want to find days also, you can see how many days, distinct dates. Just find day of extracting day from the given transaction date. Now you can see there are only 31 days are there, right? If you observe, distinct transaction dates are 340 or something, but here distinct dates are only 31 days. What are they? So there could be, because of we have only the range of 1 to 31, so that's why it is returning 31. Okay. Now I'm just removing this one. There are total of how many transaction dates are 340 transaction dates. Now you can see, we'll see another response. Next, item IDs. So if you observe, there are different item IDs are there, but what we have to find, we have to find how many distinct items are there. Okay. Select count of distinct item ID from e-commerce. If I execute this query, you can see here there are 434 distinct, I mean unique items are there. Next, we'll see how many categories are there. If I execute this one, it will return 1000, right? So we have to use distinct. That will return unique categories. So there are 5 unique categories are there. What are they? Let's see that also. So if we, how we can see that? Just use select category from e-commerce. That's going to return total of 1000 records, right? You can see here that's going to return 1000 records, but we need to see only the distinct categories names. So how we can do that? By using distinct of category. Now you can see it will return only 5 records. That is, these are the categories. Okay. Now we'll see how many items comes from each category. Okay. How we can do that? Category wise, we are going to count the number of items, right? That is item ID from e-commerce. After that, what we have to do? We have to use group by of category, because we are trying to find the count of item IDs for each category, right? So we have to use group by. Now, if I execute this query, you can see here it's returning for each category how many are there. Even if you add, you will be getting total of 1000, right? Next one, we'll see another response. So if you look at this one, these users are spending some amount by purchasing different items. Let's see here. We'll find first each user, and then this is the number of quantity of purchase, and this is the item price, right? So first we'll find total purchase amount for each user. Okay. Each user, in the sense each transaction ID first we'll find, and then we'll find each user ID wise what is the total amount. Okay. First, what we have to do, we are going to find the total transaction amount for each transaction ID. Okay. How we can do that? Just returning all data with addition to that, I'm going to find total transaction by multiplying with item price and quantity purchased. Okay. Now, if I execute this query, you can see here we returned a total transaction amount for each transaction ID. That is nothing but item price multiplying with quantity purchased, right? That's going to return this value. These are the values are total transaction for each transaction ID, right? So even if you want to name it also, you can mention that as total transaction amount for each transaction, right? Now you can see here. So from this response, even if you want to find directly also, you can use it, or else you can also use in extraction of another column, and from that you can also find any response you want. So let's see here, this is the total transaction for each transaction ID. Now we are going to find the total transaction for each user ID. How we can find that? So for each user ID, you are trying to adding of all this total transaction, right? Now select user ID, and you have to add the total transactions amount from which table? From this table, right? Because you extracted that as another response, right? This one, okay? We are going to write it down. And from this response, right? From this table, you are going to find it because this is the column we extracted, right? So even if you want, you can directly write it down. So now we are going to reading the data like user ID wise. We are finding the total of this total transaction amount for each user ID. So you have to use your alias for inner query because if you missed inner query giving any alias, that's going to return error, right? So now what we are going to do, we have to use group by of user ID. That's going to return each user ID wise total transaction amount. So how many users are there? The total of 100 users are there. You can see here, it's returning 100, right? That means there are 100 users are there, and each user, this is the total transaction amount for, spent by each customer or each user. So now you can see, you can also use order by, you can mention this column as total amount spent by customer, right? Or you can also mention user also, no problem. Amount by user. Now what we have to do, order by of that total amount by user, right? In ascending order. That's going to return in ascending order, right? By default, if you're not mentioning anything, that's the ascending order. So if you observe, 3473 is the lowest amount. What is the highest amount? You can see here, this one, that is 29,897. So this is the highest and that is the lowest amount spent by different customers. Okay. So this is the response. Even if you want to find in descending order also, you can just mention descending order so that you'll be getting in descending order of the total amount spent by each user. Now you can see here. Okay. So if my question is find the customer who spent the highest amount, how we can do that? We can just write down here in the order of total amount spent by users in descending order. Just if you select here top one, that's going to return the highest one, right? That's going to return, okay, we have to use space here, top one customer. You can see here, that's going to return the customer who spent the highest amount. Even if you want to mention, if you want to find the minimum customer who spend minimum amount, you can just remove this descending order so that you will be getting the customer who spend the minimum amount. You can see here, this is the amount. So likewise, so if you want to find the top two or top three, you can also use this one. But you need to understand here, if you're mentioning this top one or top two class, that's going to return top two records, top one records only. That doesn't mean that it's going to return top two users. Here, you need to understand one thing. If you all customer, if you know like all customers are spending different amounts, then only you have to use this one. Because if there is any customer who's multiple customers are spending the same amount, that's not going to return, right? So that's how we are going to use window functions. Okay, like selecting any rank for any users on the basis of their spending amount. Okay, so now you can see here, because all these customers are users are spending different money, so that's why I'm just using different amounts. Okay, so if you just use 2, that's going to return the lowest 2, right? These are the lowest 2 amounts. Even if you find the top 2 also, you can just mention here descending order. That's going to return top 2. You can see here distinct amounts, right? So that's why I'm just using top n class. So even we can also use it by using assigning the ranks. Let's see how we can do that. So what is the difference between rank and dense rank? So in case of rank, if is there any number of matches are there, for the next rank it's going to skip. How many ranks are matched? Those many it's going to skip. Next one, what is the dense rank? If is there any number of matches are there, the next rank it won't skip. That is the difference between rank and dense rank, right? So now we are going to allocate the rank for, let's see here, first we'll take this data, right? And if you observe, this is the data we extracted, one more column, right? On this particular column wise, each user we are going to assign a rank. Okay, let's see here how we can do that. So this time I'm going to use CTE. With CTE as I'm going to store this result in CTE. And even if you want to look at that also, you just write select star from CTE. If you execute this query, you can see here that's going to return the same data, right? Now what we are going to do, we need to have only user ID wise sum of total transaction amount, right? I'm going to mention this as total by user. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to use group by, right? Group by of user ID. You can see here, if I execute this entire, that's going to return the same like each user ID wise. There are total of 100 users. These are the numbers, right? So now even if you want to mention order by also, order by 2. 2 means second column, okay? That's going to return the lowest to highest one. You can see these are the 11. 11 user is the lowest amount, right? That is what we have seen, right? So next one, 31 user. So now what we are going to do? We are going to assign ranks on the basis of total amounts by each user. How we can do that? So to do that, what we have to do? We are going to store this resultant set with any particular city. Okay. For that, I'm just using another city 2 as this entire one. Now, even if you select the data from city 2, that's going to return the same data, this data. Okay. I'm just selecting this one. You can see here, you have to select like this. Now you can see it's returning the same data, right? Now, from this data, we have to assign ranks on the basis of this column. For that, I'm trying to return rank or dense rank because I always prefer to use dense rank because we don't know how many users are spending the same amount, right? So if you are trying to find the top n responses, always prefer to use dense rank because that's not going to skip any ranks because I mean, even if any matches are there, that's not going to skip. But in case of rank, it's going to skip values, right? So now for that reason, I'm just using dense rank. So how we can do that? Dense rank of over in over. How we are trying to find? So either if you want to find the top n or bottom n. Okay, top n in the sense that means the users who is spending the highest amount. Bottom means the user who is spending the lowest amount. So how we can define? It's all based on in which order you are trying to assign the ranks. Now in lower class we have to mention order by total by user. Okay, that means you are trying to assign these ranks on the basis of this order, that is in ascending order. Okay, that means you are trying to assign values from lowest to highest one. Now if I try to do this one, that's going to return the lowest one as rank 1, right? And then followed by remaining. Now you can see here, these are the customer there are, you can able to observe how many ranks are there. Total 100 because all users are spending different money, different amounts, so that's why it is returning 100 is different. Okay, so now we'll see total. Okay, now we'll see top 2 or top 3 also, right? So for that we have to store this response in another city. I'm just mentioning city 3 as this response. Now select star from city 3, sorry, city, what is that? City 3, right? This is city 3, city 3, where this column I'm going to mention this as drnk. You can mention any column name. I'm just using drnk, that is less than or equal to 3. That's going to return the bottom 3, the users, those users who spend the lowest amount, top 3 users who is spending lowest amount. Okay, now you can see it's going to return top 3. So likewise, you can also mention third, like third user who's spending third lowest. Okay, you can see here third lowest. So this is how, even if you want to find the top 2 also fine. How we can do that? Just mention here order by total in descending order, so that those users who spending the highest amount will be assigned for rank 1. Now if I use here less than or equal to 3, that's going to return those users who spending the highest, I mean top 3 customers. Okay, you can see here these are the top 3 customers who spending the highest amounts. Similarly, if I use 3, that's going to return third highest, right? This will return third highest. Okay, so this is how you can also use different window functions to find different responses. I hope you understood. So let's see, is there any other responses we can find from the given data? So now we can also find total transaction amount for each category, right? So let's see here how we can do that. So we already extracted one more column, that is we are not considering any discount, right? We can also consider discount also. Okay, how we can do that? So let's see here. First, this is the response that we extracted one more column. Here we have not considered any discount. So in finding total transaction amount, we have to reduce this discount, right? So even if you want to do that, you can start doing that. Okay, now what we are trying to find now, we are going to find category wise total transaction amount. For that, what we have to do, we have to use category wise sum of this column from this response, right? I'm going to mention alias a. Now you can see here, what is this error? a dot category is invalid for the list because we are using sum of total transaction amount, right? So what you have to do, that's going to return a single value, but this going to return multiple records, right? That's not going to match. So you have to use group by of category, right? So now that's going to return total transaction amounts for each category. So this we can consider as sales amount for each category. Okay, so even if you find the total highest transaction or highest sale amount for which category, we can find it, right? How we can do that? You can just mention here order by second column, right? I'm going to mention this as total sale amount. I'm going to mention this one here in descending order. Okay, that's going to return the from highest to lowest one, right? So if you want to find the highest sale category, you can just mention here top one, or else you can also use any window function like rank or dense rank. Now you can see here this is the highest category. Even if you want to find top two also, you can use top two like this. Okay, I hope you understood. So there are a lot of insights that we can find with the help of any data. Just start taking any data and start doing any data analysis. Okay, I hope you understood how we are reading the data from the local storage and how we are doing data analysis. Okay, if you have any doubt, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you.